While it is expected that Jayson Tatum will not be playing for the Boston Celtics for the foreseeable future, a long future, we do have a Jayson Tatum injury update as to the details behind his Achilles surgery and what we could expect as far as a potential timeline. Nothing's concrete yet, though. We'll go over that injury update in just a moment and how the Celtics can tie this series up and head back to Boston for a Game 7, winning Game 6, which is tonight. And we will be live for Celtics versus Knicks Game 6. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you turn your notifications on. I want all the good vibes. I need every single green teamer out there to join us tonight for Celtics Knicks Game 6 watch party. It's going to be a blast, and who knows, could very well be the last one of the season. We don't want it to be, though, and we want you there. Sub and turn your notifications on. Alrighty. Look, before we get into the weeds of what's going on with Tatum and the early stages of this recovery process, I want to make it very clear. This is an Achilles injury. This is about as bad of an injury as you can have in the NBA. And for a player who is 27 years old and at the peak of his powers in the NBA right now, this totally sucks. So this is just obviously going to be bad news and a black cloud over Celtics fans' heads for a long time to come. But relative to other Achilles injuries, which have really deteriorated many players' careers and sometimes taken them out of basketball entirely, Jayson Tatum is in a fairly good spot compared to the rest of those guys. Tatum had surgery 12 hours after suffering the tear in Game 4 against the Knicks, and he appreciates all the love and support on Instagram. But this is great news because this doesn't normally happen. This is very atypical for Tatum or any victim of an Achilles injury to be receiving surgery so quickly after the tear. For notable injuries that we've seen for different Achilles around the NBA, timelines aren't even close to what Jayson Tatum had for his surgery. Damian Lillard, he didn't get operated on until 5 days after suffering the injury, it was about a month ago. DeMarcus Cousins, 4 days difference. Wesley Matthews, 6 days, almost a week he didn't get his Achilles operated on. Rudy Gay, 5 days. He was never the same after that. Kevin Durant, 2 days. So obviously shorter, but even a longer timeline than Tatum's. And we know the level of play that Kevin Durant has come back and played at. And the funny thing about KD, they share the same surgeon. Martin O'Malley is the same surgeon that operated on both Kevin Durant and Jayson Tatum. And this is a very lucky matter of circumstance for JT to be in New York, where Martin O'Malley is located, not have to travel. And that's kind of the hiccup for a lot of those guys, having to wait and find different doctor availabilities and having to travel from city to city. A lot of the instances have happened when these guys are on the road. That was the case for Tatum, but you happen to be in such a metro like New York City where he gets the surgery at the hospitals for special surgeries, like the best doctors in the whole wide world, and it happens to be somebody who's very familiar with NBA players tearing their Achilles. Awesome news, and it's a very fortunate situation for Tatum to have, given the circumstance of a terrible, terrible injury. And there's other good news for Tatum. Like we mentioned, the quick surgery turnaround is huge. And this is not just coming from me. This is coming from doctors around and people who specialize in this type of stuff. This is a quick surgery turnaround is kind of unprecedented for this injury. And for it happening to somebody at 27 years old, there isn't a ton of data out there to really support whether or not this is going to be a much more successful recovery process and something that he comes back better from. But it is good nonetheless that it happened sooner rather than later. He's also 27 years old compared to most of those guys who we just talked about were already past age 30. So this is a great opportunity for Tatum to still have a lot of great basketball left in front of him. And you know what? Couple that with the quick surgery turnaround, and you're looking at a really, really optimistic outlook on Tatum's recovery here. And I think personally, the timeline and the timing of this injury happening late into the postseason in the middle of May gives the Celtics room to not rush Tatum all the way back. There's going to be speculation on whether or not he can return at some point next season. But with this more than likely being a full calendar year recovery, I would not rush him back if they have the opportunity to bring him back for the playoffs or the late regular season or anything of the sort. I would just not play him completely in 25-26, and you better guarantee yourself Tatum at 100% and a less likelihood for a re-injury or re-aggravation in that season. The Dr. Lou Suslowski of a very prestigious Achilles and lower leg injury institute. I want to get it perfect for you guys because I want to give him the credit here. The Penn Achilles Tendinopathy Center of Research Translation is where Dr. Soslowski is from. So you're taking this from one of the best, and courtesy Noa Dalzell here of Celtics blog. She's awesome. Go read some of her stuff and read this article as well. I'll put it in the copy of this in the description of this video. He said you're going to get infiltration of see, I'm going to use biologic. I'm going to start using big words here, and it's going to not be easy for me. Biologic agents and cells that will create the beginnings of scar formation. Because of this repair was within a day, those processes had only just begun. And with a surgical tear, the torn ends were put right back together before a lot of these adverse biologic effects occurred. And so the opportunity for a faster recovery really is present. That's awesome. Like for all that to be said, hopefully you guys can all understand that better than me. I wasn't a science guy growing up. Definitely wasn't a bio guy. I waited till senior year of college to take that and got a C. But it will be months before that we know whether or not Tatum will be coming back or even eligible to return into the 25-26 season. And more likely than not, it's going to be longer than that. And Soslowsky continued saying this. He said, if you want to be conservative, one would say, well, it's probably a 12-month rehab anyway. Therefore, let's just let him sit out and give him the best shot during the following season. On the other hand, if in a handful of months he's doing well, then there will be a push and pull to say, well, we can get him back next season. And that is a possibility. Like, there is so many different ways that people end up recovering from a torn Achilles. It's a very wide spectrum as to like the recovery process and how good you're going to come back and how quickly that all ends up being. Jayson Tatum's dad, Justin Tatum, is very optimistic about JT's return, saying that it's going to happen in 8 or 9 months, that he's going to have one of the best Achilles recoveries of all time, that he's going to come back playing at an elite level. And I do believe that he will be coming back playing at a top 10 level at one point, but the timeline on that is yet to be determined. Coming back next year as well, like, it just carries major risk for me. Like, I want Tatum. My number one priority is getting him to be playing almost a decade to a decade plus of really high level basketball again. And if there's any chance that that's not a possibility with him coming back next season and putting more tread on these tires and trying to rush himself back a little bit, I don't want that to happen. Wait till 26-27. If you agree with me and you want Jayson Tatum to come back 100%, 110%, 1,000% playing at that same top 5 level, hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video, because we need to manifest good vibes for JT in this recovery process. All right, let's move on here to wrap up this video. We'll go through how the Celtics are going to win Game 6 because there's still basketball left to be played. It's not doom and gloom anymore with JT's injury. It's reality, and with the guys that we have still in tow, we got to go out there and tie this series up and force a Game 7. So let's get right into it. Rule number 1, keep playing your game. The process has been fine for the Boston Celtics to this point. It just comes down to execution. Like, plain and simple, what they did in Game 3, what they did in Game 5, they just executed. They just hit their shots. They just converted their opportunities at the rim. They just played better basketball and were more locked in at the end of the day. For lack of a better word, the C's were more locked in. Dan Greenberg threw this up on Twitter, and I thought it was particularly interesting because it's really about execution at the end of the day. He said before the subs came in, 9 of the Celtics' 18 field goal attempts in the fourth quarter were three-point attempts. And it just, like, for people who are saying that the C's are taking too many threes, like, they're on a 40-plus three-point attempt pace, in the fourth quarter, and they end up just converting more shots in the paint, which they have not been doing all season long. So really, it's more than. Excuse me, it's not more. It just boils down to them hitting shots at the end of the day. Like, we know the process has been fine to this point. In games 1 and 2 when they blow these 20-point leads, what did I say in the videos that I post on the channel? Is Joe Mazzulla going to get them more wide open? Like, the sets and the opportunities that they've had have been fine to this point. They just haven't hit them. Like, they were 80% in their paint opportunities in Game 5 compared to in the rest of the series, they've been shooting 70% in the paint on 22 attempts, and like they end up shooting more in Game 5. They shot 28 field goal attempts inside the paint in Game 5. So like, you're looking at this team and you're trying to change up a formula that doesn't need to be changed at all. They just need to execute better, and hopefully they, down the stretch of games, if it's close, they can make the plays and want it more than the New York Knicks do. Like, it comes down to hitting shots, guys. Like, you shoot 25% across the first 2 games of this series, and you're up 20 at one point. Like, it is actually insane that they were that bad from the outside, and they were still yet able to be up 20. The Knicks haven't done jack in this series to make me convinced that they are the better team. And even without Tatum last night, and maybe it was inspired basketball where they shoot 46% on wide open three-point attempts. But like, come on. The Celtics look like the better team the entire series, and they shoot 50% in game 3 from wide open threes. They shoot 40%, 46% in game 6 or game 5, excuse me, and they end up winning both those games. Hit your shots when they're wide open. You're the best shooting team of all time. Paint touches. This is interesting as well because for those of you who are still saying they shoot too many threes, they don't drive it into the paint enough, they don't penetrate and they don't attack the rim. Well, game 5, 23 paint touches. That looks like the third lowest to me of the entire series. Oh, wait, and then the game 3, 20. That's the second lowest of the entire series. Oh, game 4, where they were up 14 in the fourth quarter? Oh, that was the lowest of the entire series. So the 2 games where they actually touched the paint with the basketball the most were the 2 games that they shot the worst from 3. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. They just have to go out there and hit their jump shots and continue to dominate the possession game as well. What happened in game 5? Celtics won on the glass, and the Celtics won in the turnover battle, and the Celtics won getting more shots up on the rim, and they ended up making more shots subsequently. That didn't happen in game 4, and that was the big reason that the Celtics lost. Offensive rebounds with Mitchell Robinson, offensive rebounds with Josh Hart, more opportunities for the Knicks, and more makes as a result. That's just who wants it more? I think we know what the Celtics are at this point. We've watched them for 2 years, and we know how they win basketball games. If they're locked in and engaged, nobody's beating them out there. And defensively, if you want to get into the more nitty-gritty of things, there are similar looks at Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson with the way that you attack Brunson with Jaylen Brown, both on and off of the ball for the vast majority of Game 5, where you've done that a couple of times throughout the series, but you've went away from it and thrown Holiday and Derek White on Brunson. Get Jaylen Brown on your best defender, on your best and biggest defender, on New York's best offensive player, and check up the ball. Also with Cat, Drew Holiday was a major matchup problem for Karl-Anthony Towns. 27 possessions in Game 5, and that's like a lot. He only put up 5 shots and only had 6 points on those 5 shots. Like, Drew, he doesn't seem to want to attack the basket or go at Drew Holiday and his stocky frame in this ball game whatsoever. So continue to throw him out there and continue to make life difficult for Cat. Drew Holiday knows how to have active hands and get in there and create turnovers, and they did that a lot in Game 5. And subsequently for Boston, they have to take care of the basketball. The Celtics had 5 turnovers in the first quarter of Game 5. They only turned it over 3 times the rest of the game, and that was where we saw the C's dominate things. Look, Games 1 and 2, they came down to shot making, and shout out to Dan Greenberg for a lot of these different shot charts that he's putting out there and statistics. Like, it's hard to disagree with numbers and facts out there at the end of the day. Came down to shot making. The Celtics have been hitting their shots over the last 3 games, and the results have been a lot different. Obviously, Tatum injury screws a lot of things up. Celtics went ice cold down the stretch of the fourth quarter in Game 4. I think they could have won all 3 of these games. The results right now should be flipped. You could argue the series should be over right now. Boston should have won. It had maybe even Luke Cornett been playing over Kristaps Porzingis for long stretches. The TD Garden crowd deserves another game. Go out there and want it more. The Boston crowd, we know how electric they can get. We know how electric the Madison Square Garden is going to be for Game 6. So go out there and take it from them. Go out there and deflate them early. Go out there and hit your first 5 threes, Derek White. Go out there and hit your first 7 threes as a team, Celtics. It's up to you. This is the ball's in your court. I don't think there's any way that the Knicks can go out there and take it from you. It's up to you whether you want to win or lose this battle. Confidence level in a Game 6 win. What do you guys think? How are we feeling to tie this series up? 1 means we're not confident at all. This series is cooked. That was just inspired basketball in Game 5. 10, that means we're tying this thing up and going to Game 7 in Boston. Let me know what you guys think, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/CelticsTV, for the best Celtics content all year long. Playoffs, off-season, regular season, we do it all here at Celtics Today. If you love the C's, hit that big red sub button. We'll see you guys tonight for our watch party for Game 6. As always, let's go C's.